Hello, 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 and welcome to another edition of The Vibrant Truth. So, so what I want to say before I start this video is I expect some backlash from this video. I expect some IRL drama from this video. But what can I say? Sometimes you have to say what you gotta say, right? And get some shit off your chest. So, here we go. Punishing those that hurt you, mentally, physically, or emotionally. Is that really draining to them? Or is it really draining to you? Is it worth forgiving constantly? Or is it worth holding on and letting anger consume you, letting hurt consume you? My answer to that question is it could be case by case basis. So, people are human. We're born to make mistakes. We're not perfect. No one's ever perfect. No one's never going to be perfect. No one's going to be born perfect. No one's going to die perfect, right? We all have our casts. We all have our stones to cast, right? So, my thing about it is simply this: living your life angry, living your life angry, and trying to think that you can punish someone that hurt you. Is that really hurting them? Or is it really hurting you? Now, don't get me wrong, there are some situations and some circumstances where it's warranted to be angry. It's warranted to want to punish someone, right? And it's easy to be mad at people. It's easy to hold a grudge. It's easy to be angry with someone, right? But it takes a lot more energy and a lot more power to just say fuck it and move on, right? But in some situations, it's hard to just say fuck it and move on. It's hard to just sit there and say, okay, it is what it is. I'm going to let karma handle this. Because regardless if you're superstitious or not, karma is a real thing, right? That's how I feel. And whether you believe in karma or not, it comes around. And when it comes around, it's brutal. So, regardless if you feel like you've been done wrong and you feel you have to take justice into your own hands, that's well within your rights. But understand, eventually, karma is going to come back around. And when karma comes back around, she's going to be taking names and kicking ass. So, I'm not perfect. Like I said, like I say in all my videos, I'll cast the first stone on myself. When someone does me wrong or I feel like someone's doing me wrong, or someone's playing games with me, or someone has played games with me, yeah, I want to shoot revenge back, right back at them. I want to do the same things they're doing, and sometimes I do slip up and end up on that road. Do I mean to do it on purpose? No, I don't. It just it's just a knee jerk reaction. But slowly and surely, I'm learning to let things go, right? Because like I said, eventually karma's gonna come back around, and I don't want her looking at her list and my name being on it anymore. So like, I'm gonna just let things be. Yeah, I've done some fucked up shit in my life. I fucked some people over in my life. I hurt some people that's close to me in my life. I've lost people that I love in my life. But I'm learning to let go. Slowly but surely. And if it's meant to be, it's meant to be, right? That's for anything. Jobs, friendships, relationships, partnerships, streamerships. So if it's meant to be, it's meant to be, right? So whatever happens in a situation happens. But I can honestly tell you from experience, holding on to things, it's hurting you. It's not hurting them. Because even though they may feel a little bit of pain or a little bit of remorse or a little bit of doubt or a little bit of regret because of the situation, guess what? They're sleeping fine that night. They're sleeping perfectly fine, regardless if they're sleeping somewhere they don't want to sleep or if they're sleeping on something that's uncomfortable. Guess what? They're sleeping more comfortably than you are because you're the one letting the situation manifest in your mind. You're the one letting the situation manifest in your heart. You're the one letting the situation manifest in your life. And although the situation may bother them and it may hinder their existence a little bit, they're still living their life, right? They're still having their fun. They're still doing their thing. They're still hanging out with their people. They're still going to their job. They're still doing their normal whole thing. And you're sitting here angry, bitter, hurt, confused, trying to figure out exactly what the fuck went wrong, how it went wrong. Hey, Redbeard, what's going on? What's going on? Yes, big dick I am. I am a big dick. I appreciate that. But yeah, so you're sitting there harboring and stewing and thinking about the situation. Guess what? That person's living their life, right? Yeah, it may hurt them to a degree, but it's not hurting them the way it's hurting you. It's not hurting them to the point where their life is on hold or they're not doing certain things or they're not going certain places because it reminds them of you or they're not saying certain things because it reminds them of you or they're not eating certain foods because it reminds them of you. They're living their life, but you're sitting here avoiding things and not going certain places and not doing certain things and not looking at certain things because it reminds me of you. So I'm chilling, bro. Got done eating a pizza. What's on the menu for podcast tonight? The podcast tonight is it really punishing worth punishing those who hurt you? Is it punishing you or is it punishing them? Hey, Blackout, what's going on? So while you're sitting here trying to dish out revenge, guess what? That person you're dishing out revenge on, they're not giving two fucks. They're still living their life. So you're ruining your life You're putting your mental health at risk. You're putting your emotional health at risk. You're putting your physical health at risk to try to make someone regret or feel sorry for choices they made against you or in a situation that had something to do with you. But guess what? While you're spending your energy doing that, they're living their best life. They're not caring about anything. He who seeks revenge, remember to dig two graves. Exactly. So while you're sitting here doing all this and they're living their best life, guess what? They're laughing at you because they're seeing what you're doing. It's very transparent. And they're sitting there laughing at you. Like I said, I don't do these videos just to do these videos. I do these videos because these are experiences I go through. These are things that I've seen. These are things that I've experienced. These are things that I've talked to people about. I can sit here and say that slowly letting things go, I'm starting to feel a lot better. Yeah, I have relapses and I have moments and I have flashbacks and I have dreams and blah, 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 and all that other stuff. But guess what? Slowly, that stuff will get better. Slowly, that stuff will go away. Slowly, I'll start to realize that when one door closes, another one opens, right? So having animosity or a grudge against someone is only killing you and only hurting you and only hindering your prosperity and your growth in life, right? So as I'm sitting here making this video, I'm realizing everything that I'm saying and I'm gonna apply it to myself. Like I'm not sitting here saying, hey, do this because it works. I'm learning it as I'm doing the video. There's things that's going on that's happened, situations that arose recently, and I'm sitting here saying, what the fuck? Like, what's going on? I mean, really bad. I'm really bad with grudges, man. I hold too many grudges with too many people. Yep, I can agree with that. Yep, definitely. It's easy for me to hold a grudge against somebody. Doesn't matter who it is. It's easy for me to hold a grudge. I'm really working on that because holding grudges can ruin your life. It can ruin potential friendships, relationships. It it just it just makes you bitter towards people, honestly. Because like you holding a grudge against one person, but then another person that knows nothing about it can be showing signs of the same situation and you're automatically on guard because of the grudge you're holding. Like grudges really puts a black cloud on your life sometimes. And like you're holding the grudge, you're the one showing energy to that person in that situation. The person that you're holding a grudge against, they're living their life. They're doing the same things they're doing. They're bettering themselves. They're growing. They're prospering, and you're sitting here with a grudge, not going certain places because you might run up into them, not speaking to certain people because they speak to them, not doing certain things because you used to do it with them. I mean, like I said, every situation is different, but I mean, for the most part, holding grudges and seeking revenge only hurts you. Because, to be perfectly honest, I say it over and over again in all my videos. I don't say it in every single video, but I say it in almost all my videos. If a person can walk away from you and they're not even bothered by it, it doesn't matter what you've been through or what's been said between the two of you or anything. If a person can walk away from you and not have any remorse or any regret or any sadness or any type of grieving emotion, then guess what? Your presence really never meant anything to them. And that's what people have to start realizing. In any situation, if a person walks away from you and they're not willing to talk. They're not willing to say, you was an important part of my life, or I enjoyed the time we spent together, or I enjoyed the time I knew you. If they're not willing to talk about it, if they're not willing to say, hey, you was a part of my life for a reason, let's talk about it. If they're not willing to go through any of those things, then your presence meant nothing to them. And that's a harsh reality, but it's the truth. Because if they can be content with your absence, then they never really needed your presence. So people say, well, yeah, you mean something to me, but I can't put my life on hold. What does that mean? Right? You mean something to me, but I can't put my life on hold. I have to live my life. If you can walk away from something that means something to you and just go back into life without a period of grief, without a period of pause, without a period of self reflection, without a period of reflecting, period, then that person or that thing never meant anything to you. And whatever days, months, weeks, years you spent pretending is gone. You're not getting that back. So take that time off your life clock that you wasted because you're never getting it back. So my thing about it is simply this: you're gonna live life with a lot of questions, with a lot of doubts, with a lot of back and forth, especially when it comes to people, because nowadays people are not made the way they used to be. Your word was your bond at one point in time. Now, when people say something, you have to wonder if they really mean it, if they're saying it for personal gain, if they're saying it just to say it, if they're saying it to make themselves look good, or are they saying it as a bigger plot to get you in the future? So your mind is always constantly going and going and going and going, right? So you get these people that say, oh, well, you shouldn't look at life like that. You shouldn't look at people like that. You shouldn't do this. You shouldn't do that. Everyone has their own way of dealing with mental destruction, I'm going to say. Because let's just be honest, if you let a person in and their only intent is to fuck with you, waste your time, make you feel less than, make you feel like you're worthless, then guess what? That's mental destruction. They got into your circle to mentally break you down. And everyone deals with that differently. So no one has the right to tell another person, hey, you shouldn't treat people like this because of this. You shouldn't treat people like that because of that. You shouldn't treat people like this because of this. Listen, people do things differently to protect themselves and protect their mental health and protect their sanity, right? So, like I said before, I have no problem talking personally about me, okay? Just me. Bro, we are in an industry that almost always build on manipulation, so it's understandable. Yep, 100%. So, how I used to deal with my mental despair and emotional despair and blah, blah, blah is I used to drink, right? There were times I would wake up 7 o'clock in the morning drinking, go to bed at 2 o'clock in the morning still drinking. Like there would be times I would drink all day, from sun up to sundown. I would drink. That's how I handled things. Did it make it better? No. Did it make the problems go away while I was drunk? Yeah. Were they still there when I sobered up? Yep. They sure were. So then, after drinking stopped working, I went to cutting. I used to cut. Um, did that help? A little bit. Uh, there's a song from Linkin Park called Bleed It Out, right? So that was when I was in my only alternative rock, punk, whatever you want to call it stage, and I only listen to that type of music. So like I took that song to heart. So I started cutting. And like yeah, shit got real. I was just dabbling in it or whatever, but then shit got real. My mom died. And then it got bad. And then I went back to drinking on top of that. So, yeah. So then I became this dark person, this dark, cold person that all I wanted was revenge. It didn't matter how long ago it was. Like, I tracked people down from 7 years ago before my mom even got sick that did me wrong just to get revenge on them because I was in a really dark place. I was in a really bad way. Didn't care if I lived or died. Didn't care what it took to get that revenge. I was going to get it. So when I make these videos and I speak on certain things, I'm not speaking for views. I'm not speaking for popularity. I'm not speaking for likes, dislikes. I'm not trying to get my face out. I'm not trying to do anything. I'm just happy that you're still here. Man, you're a living legend. Thanks, man. I appreciate that. So, I mean, looks can be deceiving because, like, you look at someone like me, you would never think, oh, he was a cutter, he was an alcoholic. You'd never think that. I mean, I seem well put together, but I'm a fucking mess. And I can say that confidently, and I can say that emphatically because I am a mess. I can be in a great mood, and one thing can happen that can fuck up my whole day for the rest of the day. Prime example today. I'm at work chilling, having a fucking great day, right? Great day. I mean, of course, I'm a little tired because I've been working 12 hours or whatever, but nonetheless, great day. I'm alive, I'm breathing, I'm at work, everything's good. So, one of my low level supervisors come in. So, I'm wondering to myself, I'm like, why is he here so early? He starts at 10. Cool, no problem. I don't say anything. He walks into the building, he does his normal go across the street to the store type thing or whatever. So then I proceed to go downstairs underneath a vehicle to change the oil filter. And I see he's messing with the computer. So I'm like, hey, are you on the clock? Yeah, I start at 9. No, you don't. You start at 10. Well, my schedule says 9. Well, the schedule in the office says 10. That's all I said. That's all I said. So then he proceeds to say, well, my schedule says 9. That's the schedule I'm going by. I'm here. I don't give a fuck. Deal with it. Seriously? So I nicely say, I'm not going to keep getting in trouble for you guys clocking in early because that leads to overtime and they don't want to give no overtime. Hey, Butterfly, how are you? So he then proceeds to run his mouth. Blah, 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 yada, yada, yada. You lucky I showed up after the shit you pulled last night. I'm okay. I'm in a depression state. Because of your situation or because of the other thing? Well, just DM me in Discord. Um, so he proceeds to run his mouth. You're lucky I showed up anyway. Blah blah blah. Yada yada yada. Oh, he couldn't leave an hour early because he was the closing manager. So he's talking, blah blah blah, yada yada yada. So like, I don't know. Mind you, we're friends in real life. Like outside of the job, we're friends. I got him the job. So he's talking and talking and talking, blah blah blah. So I'm like, yo, clock out and go home. I'm not going no fucking where. Huh? Excuse me? I'm not going no fucking where. He repeated it. So I'm just gonna be honest. I'm not gonna lie. Okay. This was my thought process. The fucking second he said something. Aren't you the main manager? I'm the second to the main manager. So there's one manager above me. So he said he said I'm not fucking going nowhere and you got to deal with it. So I'm not gonna lie to you. It was my thought process, right? I don't know if you guys can see this, but yeah, I don't know if you guys can see this. This hand says stay. This hand says down, right? Yeah. Okay. So I'm not gonna lie to you. My thought process, because we're friends outside of work, my thought process was just to go upstairs and punch him in his mouth, right? Just real quick, clock him out. That was my thought process, but I didn't do it. I didn't do it. I called the old manager that used to be there because the old manager got transferred. I'm like, yo, you need to talk to this dude. I'm trying to keep my composure. Please talk to him because he's running his mouth again, and he just don't know I'm not you. I will put hands on him. Lord, you better talk to him. So he proceeds to say, if you have something to say it to my face. What he do that for? What he do that for? So I come upstairs. He comes out from the back. I say, hey, listen, I'm not going to argue with you. You can clock out for the hour and wait, or you can come outside off camera and you can show me how really tough you are. Doesn't matter to me. Do you really wanted to play a game or fuck around and find out? Oh yeah, yeah. Because he thinks everyone's scared of him because he's friends with a motorcycle club. I don't give a fuck about no motorcycle club. I don't give a damn about a motorcycle club. I used to fucking hang with full blooded mafia Italians. You think I care about a motorcycle club? Nonetheless, I don't need anyone to back me up. Like I've said before, I like to fight. I just don't fight, but I like to fight. So, I mean, honestly, the amount of restraint I showed today, I'm proud of myself. That was a little achievement for me because I like to fight. Yeah, butterfly. It's he does it to people that he knows or he thinks he can get away with it with, right? He knows I'm right in the thick of getting a promotion. Bro, I got a homeboy in the MC closely tied to the fucking Outlaws 1% motorcycle club. See, I've heard of them. I've heard of them, but I've never heard of a motorcycle club called the 69ers. And apparently they're in California and all this other shit and blah blah blah, but I've never heard of them. I've never heard of these guys. And like MCs are my shit. Like I like watching documentaries and shit about them and like watching them from afar because I know some of them are racist and shit. So I try not to get involved with that. But you know, that's my shit. Motorcycle clubs and the mob. That's what I watch. But it's like there was a fire in my chest for half the day, and I had to ask myself, Who is this really bothering? Me or him? Because he's walking around this place like he has not a care in the world, and I'm sitting up here upset. Meanwhile, I'm his boss, and I'm upset. So, you know what I did? Rather than be upset, I calmed down. I said, think about it. Think about it. He's all about money, so I cut his hours. So, come this time tomorrow, he's either going to be highly upset or he is going to quit. The only big organization I know of Cali is Hell's Angels, Black Bagels, and Pagans. Just because I know of them don't mean I'm a badass dude who tried to flex it, got stretched out. Oh yeah, he does it all the time. Yeah, I'm crazy. I kill people. Blah blah blah. Yeah 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 yeah. Blah, blah, blah. What? What? I mean, the way I see it, right, is I was always taught that the ones with the loudest mouths can't fight. And he has a really big mouth. So I'm sitting here thinking to myself, I'm like, well, he talks a lot, but I've never really seen him fight. And I've been friends with him for about 6, 7 years, but I've never seen him fight. I've seen him have arguments, but I've never seen him have a fight. Self snitching makes you tough now. Yeah, I guess so. I guess so. You kill people in the most technological advanced age in world history. Get away with it. Yeah, okay, buddy, take that cap off. Yeah, I mean, like I said before in my previous video, I can be a real conniving, petty motherfucker, and I'm really trying to get out that way. But this guy makes it very easy for me to slip back into that guy. Very easy. Had this been an argument with someone else, I wouldn't have cut the hours. I would have just let it rock. I'd have took them outside a couple of hours later and explained to them, at the end of the day, I'm your boss. What I say goes. When the GM's not here, I'm the captain. What I say goes. Even when the GM is here, what I say goes. I'm the captain. So, I mean, it's like I had to have a conversation with myself and say, why am I even getting angry over this dude? I have the power to control his pockets. And that's exactly what the fuck I did. Took money out his pockets. He's the manager and is acting like that. Good call, cutting his damn hours. Yeah, I was against promoting him in the first place. But the old manager, he's cool with him and he's like, we have no choice. We're losing a key holder. We need a key holder. Okay. Like, I'm working 6 days now. I have no problem working 6 days. Like, Sundays is the only day that I absolutely possibly cannot work. So, I mean, I'm doing 6 days now. So, what's the issue? Like, I really don't understand it, but whatever. I mean, cutting his hours is going to do one or two things. It's going to get us into a fist fight, or he's going to quit. And I hope for his sake he quits. But there's just a little piece of me that hopes he wants to fight. But I hope for his sake he quits. He has a kid, I have a kid. I don't want his kid to grow up without a father, you know what I'm saying? So I just hope for his sake he quits. Uh, in 2 weeks it'll be for 2 years. But I feel like I'm a little underappreciated in this company. Let me explain why. Yeah, I moved up quick, but they've been promising me GM for the last 6 months. I got passed over once, cool. Got passed over again recently. And then they put this guy in the store that I'm in, and they like, oh, this is just temporary for us to fire him. When we fire him, we're gonna give you this store. He was supposed to be fired last week. He's still here. So I'm sitting here saying to myself, like, really? I've been a manager since I was 18, off and on, right? So the old manager that was there before this guy got there, that was his first GM job ever in his life. We're the same age. His birthday is in August, mine's is in March, but we're the same age. So his first GM job or whatever, he hired me as an assistant manager. So there's three levels to management in Jiffy Lube. There's assistant manager, which is the entry level manager, the assistant general manager, which is the manager, the GM in training, which is what I am now, and then the GM. So I got hired as an AM, worked as an AM for about like 3, 4 months. The AGM that was there, I can't stand when useless people are kept in the workplace. Yep, exactly. Exactly. I was AM for about like 4 months. The AGM that was there got hurt. He fractured his ankle or some dumb shit like that. So he was out. So the GM talked to the DM and he was like, listen, you can't have an AM working all these hours or whatever because it was just me and him at that time. So he was like, y'all only gonna put him as a GM only to fire him? Makes no sense. No, he was already a GM. He was just a GM of a high volume store. My store is a low volume store. So it took him out of a high volume store and put him in a low volume store or whatever. Hey, Hot Piccadilly, how are you? So they took him out of a high volume store, put him in my store or whatever. But he was supposed to be fired last week. But yeah, 4 months as an AM, and then the AGM got hurt, so I moved up to AGM, and I've been AGM ever since. And I was supposed to get promoted sometime last year, and he passed me up or whatever. I don't know why they passed me up for that, but whatever. Then I'm supposed to get promoted 6 months ago, I think. No, 4 months ago, and he passed me up because I got a customer complaint. One customer complaint I got, and he passed me up for promotion, whatever. So now I'm up for promotion again, right? So talking to my district manager, I'm like, listen, I'll be honest with you. I got passed over twice. Okay, twice. If I don't get promoted this time and someone else gets promoted over me, I'm not staying. I don't know what to tell you, but I'm not staying. And if I do stay, you're gonna have to give me a significant raise to stay. So he's like, no, 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 no. We're not gonna pass you over. There's no one else. There's no one else. There's no one else ready to be promoted to GM. The GM I have now is not ready to be a GM anymore, but he still has his job. I don't get it. You call me for situations like I'm the GM. You expect me to take care of situations like I'm the GM. Everyone comes to me like I'm the GM. Explain to me why I'm not the GM again. I'm confused. But yeah, back to this snapperhead that ruined my mood earlier today. So, he's walking around the building like he's king shit or whatever. So, that's fair to be honest, bro. They skipped over you and expect you to stay if they skip you again. Yep, that's exactly what they expect. They expect people to keep staying after they keep getting fucked over, and they want you to do more with no extra money. Like, come on, bro. Like, that's not me. Like, I haven't been me in a while. Like, I've taken jobs that I would never normally take. I've taken shit from jobs that I would never normally take. But yeah, that's gonna be for another podcast because that's a whole different story within itself. But yeah. So this snapperhead, he's walking around like he's king shit, like he owns the day and blah 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 and yada yada yada. So after I cut his hours, I call the district manager. I'm like, hey, so we gotta do something about this guy, bro. Like, he's not gonna disrespect me in front of other employees. He's not gonna disrespect me in front of customers. He's not gonna keep running his mouth to me. I'm not Marvin. I'm not Tom. I'm not any of these other managers. I know him personally. My exact words to my district manager on the phone was, if he keeps running his mouth, you're gonna pull up and find police tape all around the building and blood running from the dumpster because I'm gonna fuck him up and throw him in a dumpster and watch him bleed out. So you better talk to him. Yeah. So my district manager was like, wait. There's no need for all that. Just give me a couple of days. We're gonna figure something out. We're gonna transfer him or demote him or something. I said, well, you better do something because if I have to take care of it, it's not gonna be pretty. Now, mind you, we fought when we worked at 7-Eleven. Like, we actually fought. So, like, he knows what I'm capable of doing. Right? He knows me on a personal level. He knows what I'm capable of doing. But yet, you're going to do this today because you thought I was a different person than I was 5 years ago? No, just because I calmed my temper down a little bit, just because I move a little bit differently, just because I talk a little bit differently, I'm still the same guy I was 5 years ago. I just know how to handle my temper a little bit better. So this is why I said it's not good to work with friends. But I was trying to do, the good friend thing because his other job just didn't call him back. Like, they gave him an excuse. Oh, we're not working yet. The season's slow. But his whole crew was working besides him. His girl was stressing him out. He didn't have no money. His father-in-law was threatening to kick him out. So, I tried to be a friend. Hey, I can get you hired at my job. It ain't what you was making at landscaping, but it's something. You can pay your rent. You can take a dog out the fight, but you can never take the fight out of the dog. Exactly. Exactly. So I got him a job. I got him the job. Out of good faith. I'm like, listen here, my guy. Don't do what you did at 7-Eleven. Okay? Keep your mouth shut, keep your head down, do your job, get paid, go home. Nah, I'm good, I'm good. I'm not like that anymore. I'm not like that anymore. I changed. I'm not like that anymore. I'm just gonna do my job. I need money. I'm just gonna do my job and I'm gonna go home. Guess how long that lasted for. So so streamer support. Who the fuck is streamer support? Anyways, so getting on to the topic because I kind of veered off a little bit. My bad. How long has he been working there? Um, I think February. I make 2 years in November. February I make 2 years. Streamers. Yeah, exactly. He started off as a tech, and like he got promoted because he was at the right place at the right time. Against against my advice, he got promoted. But like I said, I streamer support. Who the fuck is streamer support? Oh, that makes me scared. But yeah. So it comes to a point in time where I wish I wished that the old manager had listened to me because I actually know what I'm talking about. Like I have plans for plans that has plans, right? So this guy that I got into it with supposed to be leaving, supposed to be moving to North Carolina, right? He keeps pushing his trip back further and further and further, right? So, he was sticking with, oh yeah, the beginning of November I'm leaving, the beginning of November I'm leaving. So, in September, I lined up another person that's already his position in another store that wanted to come to my store. So I'm like, all right, cool. I'll get you transfer. Yeah, I will. So it's on Twitter. Something about they liked my post. I don't even know who they are, but whatever. Um so I transferred someone in that's his position from another store. He doesn't have keys yet, but my plan was for when he either moved, fucked up, lost his position, or just up and quit because he didn't like to pay. I didn't have to search for a key holder. I already have one there. I just have to take the keys that he has, give them to him. So now everyone's like, well, you know, he needs a little bit more training. You can't just throw keys on anybody. I'm like, my man, I've been a manager since I was 18. I know how to train people. That's how I was trained. I became a manager at 18. I trained for like 2 weeks. My manager, whom I'm still friends with to this day, might I add, threw me keys and said, there you go. I showed you what to do. Show me what you can do. And I never looked back. Right? So that's when I was a shift supervisor. So my very first management job was a shift supervisor at CVS. I worked with CVS for 9 years. Right? So I was a shift supervisor for about like 3 years or some shit or whatever. And I'm like, yo, bro, like, am I ever gonna get promoted? Like, I've been a shift supervisor for 3 years. Like, what's going on? So, the store was full or whatever with management or whatever. He was like, but I'm cool with the district manager. I'll make you a deal. Now listen to this. Keep in mind before I say what I'm about to say, keep in mind that I was in the city of New York. Okay? The city, not Long Island, city. Okay. This was back in 2006, 5, 7, around there. Right? So keep in mind, right? So he's like, I'm good with the district manager. He'll probably let me have four managers, but you got to do something first. So I'm looking at him. I'm like, what? So he's like, if you could fight me in this break room for 5 minutes and hang in with me and not tap out, I'll promote you. Guess who got promoted to assistant manager? A lot of people say I'm lying. I have his number in my phone right now. Every time someone says you lying, I call him. I'm like, yo, Jay, how did you promote me? Like, it's a fucking crazy story, but it's a true story. Nah, getting promoted in CVS is fucking hard as shit. He was just an unorthodox manager, but like he was a damn good manager. Like he was the best manager in the region, not the district, but the region. But yeah, he was just a little unorthodox. Like for instance, perfect example, shoplifters. We all know the protocol with shoplifters. Once they leave the store, you're not supposed to pursue them, right? We gave two fucks about that rule. We chased motherfuckers down blocks. We chased motherfuckers into their projects. He broke a motherfucker's hand because he kept coming into the store stealing. So yeah, he was. I mean, if you lived in New York, CVS also got up to something. That also got up to get something. Oh yeah, that was about CVS. But yeah, it's no, and Jiffy Lube is easy to get promoted too. Like shit, all you got to do is just come in, sell a whole bunch of shit, have your numbers looking right for a certain amount of time. Boom, you get promoted. That's their qualifications for promotion. If you can have your numbers looking a certain way, you don't get no customer complaints, you get promoted. Now, as far as being qualified for promotion, I don't really think they look at that too much. All they care about is if you can make the money and how much money you can make them, which is fine. Which is fine. Don't get me wrong. Not to sound cocky, but I can sell salt to a slug. So it's not hard for me to do my job. But they want people that constantly have their numbers up. If my numbers not constantly up, like there's some weeks where I'll have like fucking $200 ticket average for the week, and then there's some weeks where I'll have a fucking $60 ticket average for the week, or a $70 ticket average for a week, or $80 ticket average for a week. But let me explain. The guy that I got into it with, that's his job. It's his job to sell. He is my lead customer service advisor. Their main job is to sell. My job is to manage the crew and make sure they don't fuck up nobody's car. That's my job. The GM's job is to make sure I'm doing my job. That's how Jeffrey Loop has it set up. So now he bitches and complains that I'm just on the floor and I don't touch the car and blah blah blah. And I look at him and I say, why do I have to touch the car? I have an upper bay, I have a lower bay. You're my CSA. What is there for me to do? What I'm gonna go redo everything that the upper bay did. I'm gonna go downstairs and redo an oil filter that the lower bay already did. I'm gonna push you out the way and do another service review that you already did. What is there for me to do? But to make sure that you guys don't fuck up the car. He don't like the fact that we wear the same color shirt, but he has to press buttons. Because that's pretty much all he does. He presses buttons and he talks to the customers. So I really get confused as to why he even gets upset about anything because I set him up with the most easiest job that's at that place. Customer service advisor is the easiest thing you can do at Jiffy Lube. The easiest, besides being a GM. Dude just sounds like a punk, to be honest. Yeah, he's one of those, I'm smarter than you, and I tell my woman what to do, and she does it. I run my house, I wear the pants, and blah blah blah. And yeah, he's one of those guys. Yep, he's one of those guys. But getting back on topic, If you harbor any negative energy or bad intentions, it's only hurting you, it's not hurting that person. Yo, who is this? Do we know who this is? Redbeard? Blackout? Anybody? Oh, so you know him, Redbeard? This is an actual person? All right, I guess this is an actual person. High five. Thank you for dropping in. I appreciate you stopping by. Oh, that's pretty cool. Well, yeah, I do talk. I do podcasts and I do RP, GTA, but I do mostly podcasts. But getting back into the topic, harboring shit against people only hurts you. It doesn't hurt the person you're harboring against because they're still living their life. They're still going out, hanging out. They're still posting on Snapchat or making Snapchats, Instagrams. You know, they're still doing their social thing. You're sitting here angry and pitiful and sad, and they're still living their life. So, you know what the remedy for that is? You do the same thing. You live your life, you make your Snapchats, your Instagrams, whatever it is you do. And time heals all wounds. So talking about your past and the question of the stream, is it fair to say that you were punishing yourself because of people who came into your life and people who lost their life around you? Well, my past was me punishing myself because of the person that left my life. It wasn't really many people coming into my life back then because I wasn't allowing it. So, in case I haven't never explained the whole story of my mom, I'll explain it here real quick. So, my mom passed from a stroke, right? So, it was one night or whatever, like, she had just came from the doctor like a week prior or whatever. And he told her she had to change her diet or whatever. She had to eat certain things, like vegetables and all that stuff. No salt, no butter, no all that stuff. So, one night or whatever, we decided to order food out. And like she was sticking to it or whatever. But for some reason, this night she wanted a cheeseburger. And I'm like, no, you can't have a cheeseburger. You can't have a cheeseburger. So, she begged me. She started crying. She was like, I want a cheeseburger. I'm like, all right, whatever, fine, whatever. Let her get the cheeseburger. So, like, we're eating dinner or whatever. Everything's fine. She laid down or whatever. A couple of hours after she ate, and a couple of hours after that, she wakes up and she's calling for me or whatever. So I go in her room, and she's like, "I can't feel my left side." I'm like, "What do you mean you can't feel your left side?" I can't feel my left side. So after she said she couldn't feel her left side for about 3 times or whatever. After the third time, her mouth just twisted. I'm like, oh shit. So my sister was laying in the bed next to her or whatever because my sister was sick too. So she was in the room with my mom, so my mom could keep an eye on her or whatever. But so my sister jumps up or whatever, and for some reason she just got down on the ground and started praying. So I'm looking to my other sister and I'm like, I need help. Like someone needs to hold her up. Someone needs to call 911. Like what are we doing? So like my other sister starts crying and I'm like, yo, someone needs to hold her so I can call 911. So I call 911. They get there. I ride in the ambulance with her and shit. So we get to the hospital or whatever. So they're asking her questions or whatever. She knew most of them or whatever. But then they're like, okay, well, we have to give you medicine to put you asleep or whatever. So she's like, no, I don't like needles. I don't like needles. Don't let them give me a needle. I'm like, nah, they got to do it. So they gave her a needle. They put her to sleep, and that was the last time she was awake. So fucking, I had to deal with that. Like I was the last person to see my mom alive, and like my family was like fighting with each other over. I don't even remember what the fuck they was fighting over, but like fucking all I had was alcohol and blades. That's all I had. Fucking couldn't talk to nobody because everyone was fucking fighting. I disappeared for 3 days and no one even knew that I was gone. 3 days, I disappeared. I came back, went in my room, closed my door, locked it. No one never even knew I was gone. So I carried a lot in the past. I carry some of that shit till this day. But like I said before, for those few people who's ever looked me in my eye or have ever sat at their keyboard and typed, you need therapy. To those people, I say, you're entitled to your own opinion. I'm not saying I'm above professional help. I'm not saying I don't need professional help. What I'm saying is, give me credit for handling the shit I went through without professional help. And I'm still here to talk about it. Not a lot of many people can deal with that shit and still be here to talk about it. Like, and like, people make fun and say, "Oh, you shouldn't tell people that. You shouldn't be proud of that." But me and my mom was like best friends. Like, I'm talking about like best friends. Like, I told my mom everything, and when I say everything, I mean everything, on down to when I lost my virginity. Didn't tell her where because that probably would have got my ass whipped, but I told her the day. So, I mean, yeah, I dealt with a lot. I dabbled in therapy, but guess what? I needed to get through most of the shit that I was going through on my own. Talking to a professional that didn't know me personally, I didn't feel like would get me over what I needed to get through. So I did it my way. Was it the best way? Probably not. I'm going to go out on a limb and say, no, it wasn't. But I'm here now. And I honestly think that saying that goes around, everything happens for a reason. I believe in that. Now you want to know where. Now you want to know where, huh? My dad was my best friend. I cared for him as 8 months of life. Wiped his ass, held a portable for him. Died holding hand. I highly advise getting therapy. Well, I mean, Redbeard, nowhere. What are you referring to? And I handled it as you say. Trust me, therapy saved me. I mean, I get what you're saying. I understand it, but like I said before, everyone's different. I've done therapy back and forth for 5 years. It didn't get me where I needed to be dealing with my mom's situation. So I don't feel any therapist or any type of therapy would have helped me get over that situation. I had to get over that my way. As far as everything else, I go to therapy and talk it out. I want to know where you clap cheese for the first time. LOL. Now, on a serious note, man, you've been through a lot, and I'm proud of you. I'm proud of you too. It happened in the house, not in my mom's bed, but in the house. But that's just as bad. It might as well have been in her bed, in her eyes. Why do you feel it didn't help? Because one, they didn't understand the emotions I was going through. Two, all they wanted to do was dope me up on medicine. Three, I wasn't even in the headspace to talk about it at that time. Like what I just did on this podcast, went through the whole events. I wouldn't have been able to do that back then. I would have shut the stream off and been fucking bawling tears somewhere in the fucking corner. Life is full of suffering and violence that makes beautiful things in life sweeter by comparison. That's true. I stayed with the format and it's a shitty feel mixed with therapy. I get it makes it better. I go to therapy now, but I don't talk about my mom in therapy. My mom never comes up in therapy, and I keep it that way for a reason. I wasn't I wasn't on antidepressants. I was on Klonopin. I don't think that's an antidepressant. It's not. Going to therapy that helps, but going to a competent therapist that helps. Therapists are people, and people are flawed. Well, yeah, you see, here's my thing, right? I get a therapist, and it starts off good, and then I say, okay, well, maybe, maybe this therapist will work. Maybe this therapist will be the one, and I get the same line from every therapist eventually, and I start opening up verbatim. Wow, you are so strong. Statistically, you should be a victim of suicide. Motherfucker, you think I don't know that? I'm paying you to tell me something I already know? Like seriously? You're doping me up on medicine and telling me something I already know. Can you tell me something new? This is what I truly feel about therapy though. I believe therapy can help a lot of people, right? I do believe that. But I also believe there's those few people that's just that fucked up that therapy can't help, right? So I believe I'm one of those people that I'm that fucked up mentally, right? That I don't think a therapist can help me with some of the things that I think or that I go through. Those therapists were trying to make you feel better so they could feel better about themselves. The ability to actually help someone with their talent and request with some patience and understanding. That's true. That's true. Like, I'm not gonna sit here and lie and say I don't have low moments in the day with fucked up thoughts. Now, before anyone thinks anything too far out there, suicide never crosses my mind. So that that never crosses my mind. You have to be open to have help that mindset just like that first. I mean, I don't have a closed mindset. I just I just know every time I open up, that line's coming. Eventually, either before they prescribe me meds or after they prescribe me meds, but it comes, and that's when I stop going because like, duh, I know I should have tried to kill myself, but I didn't. That's why I'm coming to you. But yeah. But I mean, I have low points and days. Well, yeah. See, well, let me explain why suicide doesn't cross my mind. Because, like I said before, me and my mom, we was close. We was best friends and all that. So she had a friend or whatever that no one knew was depressed or whatever, and like one day she just like fucking went into a grocery store. Let me just make sure I'm remembering the story. Yeah, one day she went into a grocery store and was shopping. Like, apparently she had a gun with her, and fucking, she just went in the middle of the store and swallowed a bullet. I've had too many people I serve take their own lives. It's too much of a haunting past to think about them. True, true indeed. But like, yeah, she went in the middle of a grocery store and swallowed a bullet, and like, no one knew why she did it or whatever. Like, she wasn't married, she didn't have any kids, right? She lived with her parents. Her and her parents had the best relationship ever. Like, so no one knew why she was depressed or why she killed herself. So like, that was my mom's biggest fear or whatever, right? It's like someone else that she was close with killing herself. So like, she would always tell us like if we're going through something or like if something's bothering us, like we can talk to her about anything. Like, don't ever feel like we can't come to her and blah blah blah, no matter how stupid it may be or how small it may seem. So we had that outlet when we was going through shit or whatever to like talk and like get our frustrations out and like get advice and shit. So like, I mean, as much shit as I go through, suicide never crosses my mind or whatever, right? Like, I'm not gonna sit here and lie and say like I don't think about cutting again sometimes because I do. But suicide, no. But fucking the shit I've been through combined with the shit I'm going through and I'm gonna go through, I'm not gonna sit here and sugarcoat and tell you guys that I know I'm not gonna be in a fucking crazy house in the next 4 years because I don't. I do know if I don't get sick and it's not my time, I will still be here though. Will I be free roaming the world? I don't know. Probably not. But I mean, they say when you feel like you're at your lowest point, the only place to go is up, which is a true saying because I've witnessed it and I've been a part of it before. But at this juncture in my life, I feel like shit just keeps coming. And like I said in the beginning of the video, I'm slowly learning to let grudges go and realize that people are going to be who they are, regardless of who it hurts or how it affects other people. So I'm sitting here contemplating to myself, and this is the scary part about this shit, right? Because I'm going through things that adults go through, but then I have a son that I have to raise, right? So now I'm fighting with myself on should I use my life experiences to raise my son what not to do, or should I keep those out of his upbringing and just tell him, hey, listen, this is what you should look for, this is what you shouldn't look for, this is how you should handle a situation, this is how you shouldn't handle a situation. I mean, ultimately, he's going to develop his own personality, right? I can only be there to guide him down the road that he chooses to take. But at the same time, like I'm sitting here in this video saying my mom was my best friend, I don't want him to feel like I'm just his parent. I don't want him to feel like he can't come to me when he's confused about something and we can't figure it out together. I don't want him to feel like if he comes to me with a certain situation, I'm going to think he's stupid or whatever because I want him to feel like he has the smarts and autonomy to do whatever he wants to do with his life within reason, if that makes sense. Like, I want him to be able to make his own decisions and be like, Dad, this is where I think I want to go with this. What do you think? That's what I want. I don't want him to be like, Dad, can I do this? Should I do this? I don't want him to have to come to me for permission for every little thing. Can't control how your son feels about you. This is a person. That's to show. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. High five. Like, yeah, he's gonna be his own person, right? But that's what I want him to feel. Like I'm just sharing wisdom with him. I don't want him to feel like I'm telling him what to do with his life, right? So like how you say something to your child could make them feel like, oh, they're telling me I have to do this. I don't want him to feel like that about anything in any situation. Like if he comes to me and say, I want to play baseball, but I'm good at basketball too. I don't want, you know, to talk to him and make him feel like I'm telling him he has to choose basketball or he has to choose baseball. Like it's like kids should look at you like you're his best friend. Exactly. That's what that's 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 what I'm trying to do. But like I'm not saying my mom didn't do a good job raising us or whatever, but like not having that positive father figure to show me how to like make your child feel like, yeah, I'm probably gonna fly in right after this. I don't want him to feel like I'm being a dictator, if that makes sense. I want him to be able to come to me and be like, "Hey, I want to do this. What do you think about it?" And I'll be like, "Well, if it's something you want to do, understand you're gonna have to put in the work to be great at it. It isn't something that can be created or for Ed. It will just happen." Huh? Just read, have fun, making memories with him. I understand not wanting to be a dictator, but be aware it's possible to overcompensate and go too far in the opposite direction. All good points. Exactly. All very good points. But fears of, I guess it's just first time parent fears as he gets older. Like certain situations arise, and like I have to figure out how to approach it. And like it's not as easy as when he was younger. I knew how to approach a situation. Now he's getting older, so it's a little more sensitive. But yeah, I get what you guys are saying. But yeah, but unknown, scary, and uncertain. But Joyce, you're alive, parent, you have these things. Yeah, that's true. I mean, I have okay things. I don't know about nice things, but yeah, that's true. But yeah. So what was I gonna say? Um, 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 uh, uh, there is 142. All right, so I'm gonna end the stream here. I appreciate everyone for stopping by and checking me out and chatting. Redbeard, high five. Thank you for checking me out. I appreciate you. More than words can describe. Blackout, appreciate you. Piccadilly, always a pleasure. Um, I don't want to forget anybody. I always feel like I'm getting to thank somebody. And am I? I don't think so. Okay. I thanked everybody. Okay, so thank you guys all. Yeah, I'll be in like 15, 20 minutes also. Redbeard. Thank you everybody. Shout outs to my sponsors, Swift Lifestyles. Appreciate you guys. Made stand out. Awesome clothing company. Also working out a new sponsorship with a new company called Action Blacktop. They are a paving masonry company. Action Blacktop. Look them up on Google. If you call them, tell them Vibe and Truth sent you. But yeah, thank you guys, and be on the lookout for the Truth Seekers. That's myself, Redbeard, and Blackout. That's going to be a project that we're going to get going soon. Look out for it. Appreciate you guys. I will be back on Friday, possibly. Nope, definitely Friday, because that's when. Yeah, yep, Friday. I'll be back Friday. Hope to see you guys there. Maybe I'll stream. Maybe I'll do another podcast. Who knows? You're sponsored. Yeah, I got 3 sponsors. I got Swift Lifestyles, which is an energy drink. I got Made to Stand Out, which is a clothing line, which was a boy. I am gonna get you. Boy, I'm gonna get you. Um, yeah. Made to Stand Out was a sweatshirt I was wearing yesterday. Gifted, whatever it said. Yeah, that's Made to Stand Out. That's my sponsor, and I'm working towards another sponsorship with Action Blacktop, which is a paving company. So, yeah, I'm gonna end it here and figure out how my son got out of his room. And thank you guys. I appreciate you. See you Friday.